Oh, thank God. I was really worried we were going to sing.
I'm looking round, and I can't see the ruler.
Oh, that's a shame. If you pick up that fucking drum kit.
I don't know what you mean.
I think you know what I mean.
How could I possibly pick up a drum kit? They're far too heavy.
But I can hear you putting it on the desk.
No, you can't. I haven't put anything on the desk. I just think at an opportune moment during the podcast, once you've forgotten about it, I will just do a little bit of drumming. This is series 5. 5. Is it fucking 5 years? 5th years of doing this.
I know, it's scary. Like when... Because obviously I got the time hop come through the other day. It was like 4 years ago today. Episode 1 went up. I was like, oh, fuck. Podcast would have been in nursery.
I think you tweeted that from the Instagram page.
I did.
Tweet from an Instagram page.
Well, I mean, technically I did. It got shared on all the places.
Oh, nice. Shit, I really need to get my driving licence sorted. I've just realised it expires on the 9th of February. Anyway.
Yeah, so... Co-pilots are getting lazy.
To be fair, the last recordings we did of last year, they were very, very loose.
What, you mean the 3 podcasts we recorded in one day? Just so that we could be like, hi, we're done. Mostly because the next recording time was Christmas.
Yeah, we did it though. We did it, and Co-Directors is dead, and what I realised is we could have started what it became last weekend, because you came down here, and we could have made progress on what that was going to become, but of course...
I was going to say that, but there was a stack of board games,
and we had to watch Dracula, so... Have you finished that yet?
Not yet, no. I think intended to. But...
Yeah, I might see if I can talk, because I've got a site tomorrow. Just a bit of admin. I've got a site tomorrow that doesn't really require my full attention, so I can be up a bit later tonight, so I might put it to Lisa that after we're finished here, I'm going to try and watch it, because it's fucking great. The first one's really good. And it's a shame we've got nothing. We could have paired it with fucking Dracula.
Yeah, it's just the other one came out a long time ago.
Yeah, that's very true. I think I've thrown away my DVD of it, which is kind of a shame, because now I fancy watching it. I'm going through a bit of a Dracula phase now. I've got the audiobook and stuff, and I think I want to watch some Dracula films now. So
yeah, well, I didn't realise, but apparently, because I'm now onto my second Stephen King book, because he's a very young and up-and-coming author.
Oh yeah, relevant. Which one is it you're
on? Under the Dome.
Oh fuck! You're not exactly starting with the small ones, are you? That's like 1,000 pages, isn't it? Well, I guess the pages don't really matter to you, do they?
Yeah, it's something. It's like 38 hours, I think.
Does it start? Oh, it's not as long as it then. Does it start with a bird flying along and just goes boom into the dome?
I can't remember.
Something like that. Is it literally like I don't really know what it is. Do they literally put a glass dome over a town?
No, it's not The Simpsons.
Okay.
It's the dome comes up in like the morning, and it doesn't start with a bird. No, it starts with so there's a woman having a flying lesson,
right,
and then there's a dome, and then you meet like I think the main-ish character as he's walking along the road out of town, and then he's just like, "What the fuck was that?" and looks up, and then he gets hit in the head with a leg.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's very different to it because it's not. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a horror book.
Yeah.
It's. Oh, fucking. What's that book where all the kids are on the island?
Oh,
Lord of the Flies. Which they mentioned.
We don't need to sync this podcast with a clap anymore. We can just do it with that.
Yeah, because it's sort of, I think it's going to be a bit like that, but with grown-ups and a meth lab.
Fucking alright.
Like, it's... At the point I'm at, the army has just fired a missile to try and, like, break through the dome. And it's like, well, if you break through the dome with a missile, it's going to explode on the inside. but it's really good. But apparently there's a TV show of it.
There is. Has there been mention of Jack Reacher yet? Because Jack Reacher is mentioned in that book.
Not where I'm up to.
Yeah, I don't know why. It just for some reason I saw a picture of it. Like he literally just for some reason decides to go, oh yeah, and there was this other guy, Jack Reacher.
Interesting. I'll keep an ear out for that.
Oh, it's invisible. Okay, I thought he was literally they dropped a glass dome on it.
Yeah, no, you're getting confused between Stephen King and Matt Groening.
The Simpsons, yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm gonna put that TV show somewhere.
Okay, Series 6.
Yeah, probably alongside another Stephen King adaptation.
Should we talk about The Prisoner then?
Yeah, well, because it's a new year, I assumed we'd be a little bit more hungover than this when we were recording. So I was like, I will do one show that's been made twice.
Yep.
Just, so we get the plot.
Isn't that's a theme for this series, isn't there? There's a couple that we've done that for.
There are a couple, yeah, because we're doing Doctor Who.
Yeah, we had an email, the only email we ever got. I can't remember who it was from. Was it an email or was it a tweet or something? Anyway.
It was an email, yeah.
So we're going to do that.
Yeah, where we can find them and if they seem...
The 2 Doctor Who ideas was a really good idea. Like the first pilot and then the reboot pilot.
Yeah, because the thing is, I've wanted to do it, but I didn't think it would be that interesting. And it's because it's not a remake, is it? It's because the Prisoner one is a remake.
Yeah.
And the Doctor Who one is a continuation, but also quite different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to this year. It's quite horror heavy in places, I think.
Yes, please. Because suddenly, Rich is a horror convert. You read one Stephen King book.
I think you'll find what I've done is discovered Stephen King as an author. I'm amazed at how quickly he's turning books around like nobody's business.
I mean, all jokes aside, he actually turns books around super quickly. He does at least one a year, which is mad for the size of books he writes.
And for like the quality of them as well.
Well, you say that. There are quite a few duds. There are some Stephen Kings that you just like, this is just not worth.
Well, the 2 that I've listened to are really good. And I've already started like eyeing up the ones I'm going to be listening to next. And also, while we're still talking about what we're doing this year.
Yes.
Episode 100 is this year.
It is. The episode 4. The 4th episode of this series will be our 100th episode of Co-Pilots?
Of Co-Pilots, yeah.
Yeah.
We already accidentally forgot when we recorded our actual 100th episode of any podcast.
That's fucking mad. Do you know what? I'm genuinely really looking forward to that episode 100, just so we can go back and like... That's what I'd like to do, just pick out, shows that have stuck out. So it's like, I know we do a top 5, but also just like trying to mention other stuff that was half decent, that nearly...
Oh, I expect that to be a long episode.
Yeah, that probably will be fairly long. Because
so I've also got other ideas of things that we can do for it, but that's an off the episode.
Oh, all right. But then that also if we look back at like the whole, because had we not both moved houses, we would have had a whole bunch more episodes in 2017.
Yeah, I think we'd have just hit it last year at some point.
Yeah. Hey ho.
Yeah. I mean, also 27 is a weird number to do a year.
Yeah, it is true. Well, yeah.
Because it's not half of 52. Which it should be. We should only do 26, but it's the fucking top 5 of the year when we can get it recorded.
Yeah. Do you know what? I completely forgot actually that we're gonna have space now that we're only recording the one show.
Whoa! We're not recording the one show. We're just doing a podcast. We haven't suddenly become TV presenters.
Well, Matt Baker's leaving, so. We're going to run out of shows. We're going to have to keep adding to these, aren't we?
No.
It is. Okay.
This season 5 is planned.
Okay, cool. I'll shut up.
That list is done. And it's nice for you because you can go back to the simple spreadsheet where it's just a list of things for you to watch.
Oh my god! That year of not really understanding what was going on.
Oh, speaking of Stephen King adaptations, we're doing one next week.
We're doing 2 next week. I've already watched one of them. Actually,
is Castle Rock Stephen King as well?
Yeah, that's why I put them together.
I didn't think you had anything to do with planning anymore.
Well, I did I did 2 years ago when I decided it was a good idea to watch that.
Fair. Cool.
Yeah, Castle Rock is... Well, it's not an adaptation, but it's like a TV show set in the world of Stephen King's characters, like Shawshank Prison features, and one of the characters is... there's other Stephen King bits in that show.
Oh, I am excited for this year of watching things. I'm just looking at this, like, the stuff that I've already seen on here is awesome.
There's a lot of stuff I've not heard of, which excites me a lot. There's one show that I've just noticed, it's called The Terror, and that sounds amazing.
Yeah. I mean, there are some of these that I've just kind of gone... I think I filled in, like, one column as just... I watched, like, you know, those compilations of trailers. I found one of those for TV shows and just went, well, that's going in, that's going in, that's going in.
Quality.
And then had to try and work out what they were.
Alrighty then. Let's do The Prisoner. Should we start chronologically and go 1967?
Yes, that makes a lot of sense.
I really liked this. I really like this.
The problem is that I have with it is that I don't like it.
Okay, that's fair.
But I don't know why.
I think it feels like a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, no, it felt
I fucking love
like,
the Twilight Zone.
Did you notice how often they were just playing like nursery rhymes in the background?
Yes.
Good. I'm not going crazy.
Yeah, there's like
because
weird
for like the first
sort of...
half of the episode, I was like, that sounds like Humpty Dumpty.
When really it should sound like this.
Oh, good, you're done.
Had you forgotten I had it?
No.
Oh. I'm putting it down now. But yeah, there's weird twinkly nursery rhymes all the way through it, and it's like, we should probably explain what The Prisoner is. So there's I assumed he was a spy, this guy. I don't really understand why, but I sort of assumed he was a spy. He resigns from the office in London, and as he's packing his bag to leave, some gas is sort of... You don't pour a gas, do you? What do you do to a gas?
Release?
Yeah, okay. It's released into his flat through the keyhole, and he gets knocked out. And when he wakes up, he finds he's in the village, which is a very, very strange little village where not a lot of things really make sense.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that I found about the show that didn't make sense is how easy he found it to drive around London.
Yeah, I
sequence.
was looking at the shot of like him driving up near Westminster. And I was like, those roads are so quiet.
Yeah, I was looking at the roads. I was just like, one, those roads don't fucking look like that anymore.
No,
they're a mess of anti-terrorism bollards now. And also, where are all the fucking buses? And where are the Boris bikes? It's not London without Boris bikes.
So yeah, and the village seems odd, and he's told that he tries to buy a map, and he discovers that the village is surrounded by mountains. So he's basically completely trapped there, and he's told that number 2 wants to meet him, and number 2 explains like
nothing. Number 2 explains nothing.
It's kind of like, oh no, it's nothing like that. I was going to make a link between Twin Peaks and this, but Twin Peaks makes less sense than this. But I don't know, I really like it, and he's trying to just work out exactly what the fuck's going on. I really like, what I've realised is in stories, I really like a community that behaves in a certain way, and then an outsider comes in and either tries to integrate or just absolutely does not understand why that community is acting in that way, because it leads to like really good social anxiety and worries of you're not quite sure exactly what's going on, but you know there's something underlying that all the other villagers understand what their village is and how it works, and presumably why it works the way it does.
Yeah, I suppose I think my main issue with it is probably has something to do with the fact that in a whole episode, the spy learns nothing. And I think
that's true.
And that's the thing, I think I'm expecting that at some point it will just go, and here is the reveal, and I want it to be more progressive than that. Not progressive, maybe. I want him to make satisfying. Learn a little bit every episode.
Yeah. I wonder if that's like a modern sensibility that you want progress to be made, and in the I don't really know.
I don't know if I want him to make progress or if I just want stuff
to make sense or like
that stuff that I can understand.
Yeah.
Without having to watch the whole show and then go back and be like, oh man, if he just looked at that weird hill over there, he'd have known that it's just a set.
So what is it? What do you think the village is then? Because my initial thought of when you see he is knocked out, he falls asleep and he wakes up and he's in a different place. My initial thought is this is all happening inside his own head.
Oh, no, I believe there's sort of somewhere between a prison and an interrogation camp.
Yeah.
And all of the numbered people are all not necessarily in on it, but they're like everyone has their own reasons for being there and for helping them.
That's an interesting idea.
But I think like
so it's an individual prison for like a nuanced prison for each individual, do you mean?
Sort of. Yeah, like there's I think it's essentially it's a prison for spies is right, what okay. I think. But I think the longer that they spend there, the more because I think they've designed it to extract information from spies. And the way that they're doing that is basically trying to get them to tell each other things and then just learning that way. Rather than trying to just like, I don't know, all I can think of is the scene in James Bond where he's flinging him with like the big wad of stuff in a sock. That's all I can, I'm just like, that's the alternative to this.
Fair. So what, but is that the only possibility you thought it could be? Have you thought it might be anything else, or is it just that?
No, that's all I think. Because it's like very... Because all I've heard about is like how Orwellian and stuff it is. That's all it makes me think of. It's just like, oh, it's a technology thing. It's like the early Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Which maybe it's me applying like modern principles to it, but I'm modern, so
I suppose that's fair. You're old, but you're modern.
I'm younger than this TV show. This might be the old. No, is this the oldest TV show we've done?
It's definitely one of.
I think it is. I'm really trying to think because I don't put dates on the TV shows.
Yeah.
I think that, this probably is one of the older shows that we've done. Might not be as old as Twilight Zone, though.
Off the top of my head, I can't remember when Twilight Zone first came out.
Might be around the same time, I think.
Twilight Zone. 1959? Yeah, 1959, Twilight Zone came out.
Okay, this is the second oldest TV show we've done.
Oh yeah, the clue was it was in black and white.
True.
Right, because when I saw we were doing The Prisoner, I vaguely remembered like having looked at sci-fi and fantasy and horror stuff. That's generally where I find my interest lying. I vaguely remembered there being something about a big white blob, and then I was thinking, I wonder if it is this show. And then the fucking big white blob showed up. What the fuck is the big white blob?
I don't know. I don't know anything. I've learned nothing. I gave this show 15 minutes of my life, and I learned nothing apart from they can remote control a helicopter, which was pretty cool.
I mean, the only...
And also that they have clearly electric golf buggies that they are adding car sounds to.
Yep, most def.
And that's the thing. I think I'm more picky on stuff like that now after doing this in co-directors. Like now I notice it. I did just sort of go like, cool, it's a car.
It's a little buggy. But, so it's one of the great setups of genre drama. When the administrators of the village can call upon a security guardian known as Rover. Oh, there you go. An initial robotic device was created for the series, but replaced by meteorological balloons when filming. Why the fuck did they think? Oh shit! What do we? Oh, I know. Let's just get a big fucking balloon.
I think because at the time it would have been really sort of, I guess it's a bit otherworldly and a bit like sci-fi as well. Because I don't think I have no idea. I imagine watching this in the 60s would have been a bit like, oh Christ, what the fuck is this? But whereas now we sort of go, yeah, have you heard of trick photography and visual effects? No. But that's the thing. I'm even looking at the wiki now and I don't understand anything more.
No, I don't. I don't understand at all. I mean, it was a really cool setup, but I just feel like there's no way it can pay off.
Wait, every episode has a different number 2.
Yeah, no, there were two number 2s in the first episode.
I probably wasn't paying enough attention.
To be fair, in the remake, I don't think that would happen because once you get Ian McKellen, you want to keep Ian McKellen.
You keep Ian McKellen. Do you want to talk about the remake? The
yeah.
story's pretty similar. Although I know that you're not going to like it because he's got amnesia.
I fucking hated it. I thought it was crap.
The thing is, like, I was really excited. Like, you know, in the opening credits where it's just like listing off the cast, I was like, cool. Yeah, I knew Ian McKellen was in it because he's in all the fucking pictures. And I was just like, fucking, Ruth Wilson as well. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, Hayley Atwell, fucking, these are people that and then it was like Lenny James as well. I was like,
fucking Morgan.
Gee, I've seen so many of these people in other things.
Yeah.
And then I remembered that I already didn't like the original one. I was like, oh, and this is in America. I'ma like this less.
And did you like it less?
I mean, it got a lot of points for a cast. and then lost all of them and more by... Because what the first one did was it made this really sort of small place and went, well, you live here. And you could feasibly sort of go, well, maybe if you've been there for long enough, you believe this is your whole world. This is the whole world.
Yeah.
You stop accepting there's an outside world. And no one cares because it's just like this tiny little village. But the village in the remake... if everyone gets their own number, and I'm just looking at the list of numbers, there are like thousands of people here.
Yeah.
It's not a village, it's a town. And he gets to rock up and he's just number 6 straight away. Prick.
I like your complaint with it is that he's not deserving of such a low number.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you look at the age of Ian McKellen, and you go, well, he's the second one in, your 6th one in is not going to be the new guy, is it?
That's fair.
But I think, like, this... Yeah, I like this one less.
Yeah. Yeah,
the thing is, I kind of expected to maybe like it a bit more, just because it would be a bit more polished. If they'd done it the same and polished it and threw McKellen out, I would have been like, you had me at Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
Instead, it seems like they've got number 2 and his kid, who I think is probably going to get a bit angsty and then like try and help 6 escape.
Yeah.
You've got all the flashbacks and making Haley Atwell be American, which makes me sad. Then Ruth Wilson, who lives there but is allowed to be British, along with Ian McKellen, who's allowed to be British. But yeah, I have the same problem. I learnt nothing from the first episode apart from, I was like, oh, maybe they've got rid of the big fucking ball thing.
But they haven't.
Oh no,
just
there it
made
is.
Massive.
Well, I mean, it's America, that's what they do.
Can I interest you in the fact that there is a video game based on The Prisoner?
No.
Okay. Came out, it was for Apple II in 1980.
I mean, I'd actually be kind of genuinely curious to play that. I quite like trying old games, finding them really hard, and then going back to the easy ones that I love. But I think... I don't know, I'd almost have rather this was a sequel.
What, rather than a remake?
Because then you've almost got a reason for there being so many more people. Because if in the 60s you sort of go, oh, well, we've managed to catch 12 spies and put them in this weird little village thing. If you then went, like, to the middle of a desert in America, and then just went, yeah, we've got fucking thousands of them now, you sort of go, oh, well, that makes sense. You've been doing this for 40 years. Instead, they...
I can see why that would be better, I suppose.
And then also, because you're then... I suppose, because in my head, you'd then be introducing new people to the concept. But also, you'd have a carryover of people who aren't just, like, going into this being like, well, I remember watching the original, and that was good, this is going to be shit.
Yeah. I did really genuinely like the first one because it was so weird that it piqued my interest. But I was watching thinking there is absolutely no way this can ever pay itself off. But like I said with the remake, I just didn't care at all.
I think the problem with the remake is the village, like the physical village, because in the original you sort of go, oh, it's this small little place in like this remote village that's clearly intended to be on an island, although it's quite clearly filmed in like fucking Wales or something.
Port Mary.
Ah, nice. I nailed it. But to just sort of go, oh, it's the middle of a desert. You just go, oh, cool. Well, you wouldn't try and escape necessarily because you sort of go, oh, I'm going to get over those mountains and die in the desert. It's just...
Apparently, I mean, spoilers, there were... The finale generated controversy when it was originally aired owing to the obscurity and ambiguity of the installment's last 20 minutes. This reaction forced McGowan to go into hiding for a period of time because he's being hounded at his own home by baffled viewers demanding explanations. Jesus.
Is that for the original?
Yeah, so basically I think he assumes the identity of number one at the end.
Oh, interesting. The thing is, if you want to watch a weird show based in like a little village or a little town that's just kind of mad and it baffles you a bit...
League of Gentlemen.
Truman Show.
I've never watched Truman Show.
Oh, you should watch the Truman Show. It's like this, but better, and it ends.
And it ends.
The thing, I think the remake genuinely missed the mark because it's not as good as it's not as good as the original, which
shouldn't have been that hard.
Also, yeah, with a cast like that as well, like it shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah.
But I think I don't know, maybe the concept is flawed in some way, but I couldn't say how it's flawed or how to do it better. Maybe just don't.
Maybe just give up.
Or just adapt more Stephen King things.
I think that's the moral, that's the lesson we're all really learning.
I think part of the problem was that I had listened to 5 hours of Under the Dome and then was faced with this trollop. I think that might have been part of the problem. But yeah, so I'm not going to continue watching these. It's a really disappointing start to the year, though.
Yeah, well, can't have that. We had no idea. I don't think I'm going to watch any more, but I did really like the first one because it was just weird enough, and just sci-fi enough for me to be like, because I don't know, I really like low key sci-fi with massive ideas, like because he's just literally wandering around a little village in Wales, but it's about like repression and like a sort of just an oppressive government or a regime that doesn't give away its motives straight away. And I think what really helps is the sort of the restrained Britishness of it, of like the clip sort of English accent, and like because it speaks to sort of almost a sort of repression in behaviour in order to appear polite. There's something. It was something that Andy Nyman said about ghost stories and why they work so well with sort of Victorian English characters and Japanese characters, is because there's a restraint and a repressed sort of repressing of emotion to appear formal, and when that's challenged,
that's sort of like, oh no, this is your home.
yeah, and that's why it ghost stories and things like this tend to work so well. So that I think is why I liked it so much.
I think probably the main difference between the two shows is not. I think it's the way they're angled, because I think the original is more angled towards, while he is trying to escape, the angle of the story seems to be more his past.
Yeah.
It's more...
Which I didn't care about.
Yeah, but I think probably in later episodes that becomes more important to... Like, their goals are something from his past.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like the remake is probably angling itself towards Prison Break.
It did feel very Prison Break. And if you look at it's 2009, so if you look at the other shows that were coming out around that time. Oh, one thing I did want to mention actually for the 1967 version, the fucking edit is so quick. So I think what had happened is they'd realised they need. Okay, so you've got an hour to fill. I think they just shot way too much and it just overran, and then they ended up just taking more and more frames out of. Because if you take if you're trying to cut a feature length movie down, if you take one frame out of every shot, you end up saving quite a bit of time because it just builds and builds and builds. So I think what they've had to do there is, because there are some cuts that it focuses on a sign that you're supposed to be able to read, and there's no way you could possibly read it in that time. So I think what they've done is they just run out of time and thought, right, we've got to save time somewhere, and just cut loads of bits out, like loads of.
I mean, it doesn't matter how long they focused on a sign. I can't read, so
yeah. So yeah,
that's why I watch TV and listen to audiobooks.
I thought it was I did enjoy it, to be fair. Not the remake. I'm never watching that again, and I resent having paid £1.89 for it, even if it does have Ian McKellen.
I think that's what was so disappointing, is that I'm like, oh, fucking a thing with Ian McKellen. I'm going to get to watch it. Oh, why?
Never mind. Next week. Not next week. Next
episode.
Do you know what, it really annoys me that we don't say, oh, because next week, because it's not next week, is it?
No, well, we were saying that, but you said it was too much work.
Well, that was when we were doing 2 shows, so maybe we could. Wait, this is supposed to come out tomorrow, isn't it?
Yep.
Oh, cool. So
at the weekend when I was asking, like, are you ready to go back to recording on Tuesday?
That's why.
If you had said no, I'd have been like, well.
Well, we fun.
Well, look at the spreadsheet. Get ready.
I'm just gonna buy the pilot for next week.
The thing is, I'm really tempted to just accept what's probably going to happen and buy the whole season.
Oh, here's the thing. It's a 2-parter. So are we doing parts 1 and 2?
Yeah, fuck it.
Okay, that's like a feature-length movie.
We only do one podcast now. Why not make it harder?
Fuck it. Yes, so we are doing the 2 Stephen King properties that we mentioned, 11, 22, 63.
That's a date, that.
Do you know what? I have wanted to read that for a long time, and I'm glad we're starting the show because it might kickstart me into actually listening to the book or reading or something.
Interestingly, I think that's the day that JFK gets shot.
Do you know what it's about at all?
It's about a guy who goes back in time.
Yeah, okay.
And befriends Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah.
And there are women. But he goes back to before that, I think. He goes back to the 50s.
Yeah.
I literally read the blurb of the book today.
Because I think what happens is he can only go back. He doesn't really have much control over when he goes back, so he ends up having to live for another 10 years before JFK gets shot. And so we're doing that, and Castle Rock, which, like I said before, it's like the shared universe of Stephen King all in the same town. And I've already watched the pilot, and it's fucking great. I watched it about this time last year. Really good.
Yeah, I am looking forward to that. Because I think I possibly put this together and had no idea what they were.
Oh, that's handy. Yeah, that's it. That's episode 1 of Series 5 done.
Boom.
And to play us out...